Hey, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hey, Krishna, 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 Raksha Mam. Krishna, 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 Pahi Mam. Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Raksha Mam. Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Pahi Mam.
So reading from Krishna book, chapter 62, Lord Krishna fights with Banasura. When the 4 months of the rainy season passed and Aniruddha had still not returned home, all the members of the Yadu family became much perturbed. They could not understand how the boy was missing. Fortunately, one day the great sage Narada came and informed the family about Aniruddha's disappearance from the palace. He explained how Aniruddha had been carried to the city of Sonitapur, the capital of Banasura's empire, and how Banasura had arrested him with his Nagapasa. Even though Aniruddha had defeated his soldiers, this news was given in detail and the whole story was disclosed. Then the members of the Yadu dynasty, all of whom had great affection for Krishna, prepared to attack the city of Sonitapur. Practically all the leaders of the family, including Prajumna, Sataki, Gada, Samba, Sarana, Nanda, Upananda, and Bhadra, combined together and gathered 18 Asukinini military divisions into phalanxes. Then they all went to Sonitapur and surrounded it with soldiers, elephants, horses and chariots. Banasura heard that the soldiers of the Yadu dynasty were attacking the whole city, tearing down various walls, gates and nearby gardens. Becoming very angry, he immediately ordered his soldiers, who were of equal caliber, to go and face them. Lord Shiva was so kind to Banasura that he personally came as the commander-in-chief of the military force, assisted by his heroic sons Kartikeya, Ganapati, Nandishvara, and Lord Shiva, seated on his favourite bull, led the fighting against Lord Krishna and Balaram.
We can simply imagine how fierce the fighting was. Lord Shiva with his valiant sons on one side, and Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his elder brother Sri Balaramji on the other. The fighting was so fierce that those who saw the battle were struck with wonder, and the hairs on their bodies stood up. Lord Shiva was engaged in fighting directly with Lord Krishna. Pradyumna was engaged in Kartikeya, and Lord Balaram was engaged with Banasura's commander-in-chief, Kumbhanda, who was assisted by Kupakarna. Samba, the son of Krishna, fought the son of Banasura, and Banasura fought Satyaki, commander-in-chief of the Yadu dynasty. I cannot say dynasty. Sorry, I'm trained with dynasty.
Okay.
Please forgive me. I'm conditioned. In this way, the fighting was waged. News of the fighting spread all over the universe. Demigods such as Lord Brahma from higher planetary systems, along with great sages and saintly persons, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, all being very curious to see the fight between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna and their assistants, hovered over the battlefield in their airplanes. Lord Shiva is called the Putanath, being assisted by various types of powerful ghosts and denizens of the inferno, Putas, Pretas, Pramathas, Kuhyakas, Dakinis, Pishachas, Kushmandas, Vetalas, Vinyakas, and Brahma Rakshasas. All kinds of ghosts, the Brahma Rakshasa, of all kinds of ghosts, the Brahma Rakshasas are very powerful. Brahmanas transferred to the role of ghosts become Brahma Rakshasas. That was in brackets. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, simply drove all these ghosts away from the battlefield, beating them with his celebrated bow, Saringdhanu. Lord Shiva then began to release all his selected weapons against the Personality of Godhead. Lord Sri Krishna, without any difficulty, counteracted all these weapons with counter-weapons. He counteracted the Brahmastra, similar to the atomic bomb, by another Brahmastra, and an air weapon by a mountain weapon. When Lord Shiva released a particular weapon, bringing about a violent hurricane on the battlefield, Lord Krishna presented just the opposite element, a mountain weapon, which checked the hurricane on the spot. Similarly, when Lord Shiva released his weapon of devastating fire, Krishna counteracted it with torrents of rain. At last, when Lord Shiva released his personal weapon called Pashupata Shastra, Krishna immediately counteracted it by the Narayana Shastra. Lord Shiva then became exasperated in fighting with Lord Krishna. Krishna then took the opportunity to release his yawning weapon. When this weapon is released, the opposing party becomes tired.
Me. Stops fighting and begins to yawn. Consequently, Lord Shiva became so fatigued that he refused to fight anymore and began yawning. Krishna was now able to turn his attention from the attack of Lord Shiva to the efforts of Banasura, and he began to kill Banasura's personal soldiers with swords and clubs. Meanwhile, Lord Krishna's son Pradyumna was fighting fiercely with Kartikeya, the commander-in-chief of the demigods. Kartikeya was wounded, and his body was bleeding profusely. In this condition, he left the battlefield and, without fighting anymore, rode away on the back of his peacock carrier. Similarly, Lord Balaram smashed Banasura's commander-in-chief, Kumbandha, with the strokes of his club. Kupakarna was also wounded in this way, and both he and Kumbandha, the commander-in-chief, fell on the battlefield, Kumbandha being fatally wounded. Without guidance, all of Banasura's soldiers scattered here and there. When Banasura saw that his soldiers and commanders had been defeated, his anger only increased. He thought it wise to stop fighting with Satyaki, Krishna's commander-in-chief, and instead directly attack Lord Krishna. Now having the opportunity to use his own 1,000 hands, he rushed towards Krishna, simultaneously working 500 bows and 2,000 arrows. Such a foolish person could never measure Krishna's strength. Immediately, without difficulty, Krishna cut each of Banasura's bows into 2 pieces, and to check him from going further, made the horses of his chariots lie on the ground, so that the chariot broke to pieces. After doing this, Krishna blew his conch out, Panchajanya. There was a demigoddess named Kotara, who was worshipped by Banasura, and their relationship was as mother and son. Mother Kotara was upset that Banasura's life was in danger, so she appeared on the scene. With naked body and scattered hair, she stood before Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna did not like this sight of this naked woman, and to avoid seeing her, he turned his face. Banasura, getting this chance to escape Krishna's attack, left the battlefield. All the strings of his bows were broken, and there was no chariot or driver, so he had no alternative than to return to his city. He lost everything in the battle. Being greatly harassed by the arrows of Krishna, all the associates of Lord Shiva, the hobgoblins and ghostly bhutas, pretas, and kshatriyas, left the battlefield. Lord Shiva then took to his last resort. He released his greatest death weapon, known as Shivajvara, which
destroys by excessive temperature. It is said that at the end of creation, the sun becomes 12 times more scorching than usual. This 12 times hotter temperature is called Shivajara. When the Shivajara personified was released, he had 3 heads and 3 legs. And as he came towards Krishna, it appeared that he was burning everything to ashes. He was so powerful that he made blazing fire appear in all directions. And Krishna observed he was specifically coming toward him. As there is a Shivajara weapon, there is also a Narayana weapon, which is represented by excessive cold. When there is excessive heat, one can somehow or other tolerate it. But when there is excessive cold, everything collapses. This is actually experienced by a person at the time of death. At the time of death, the temperature of the body first of all increases to 107 degrees. And then the whole body collapses and immediately becomes as cold as ice. To counteract the scorching heat of the Shiv Jara, there is no other weapon but the Narayan Jara. When Lord Krishna saw that the Shiv Jara had been released by Lord Shiva, he had no other recourse than to release the Narayan Vijara. Lord Shri Krishna is the original Narayan and the controller of the Narayan Vijara weapon. When Narayan Vijara was released, there was a great fight between the two Vijaras. When excessive heat is counteracted by extreme cold, it is natural for the hot temperature to gradually reduce. And this is what occurred in the fight between the Shiv Jara and the Narayan Jara. Gradually, Shiv Jara's temperature diminished and Shiv Jara began to cry for help from Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva was unable to help him in the presence of the Narayan Vijara. Unable to get help from Lord Shiva, the Shiv Jara could understand that he had no means of escape outside of surrendering onto Narayan. Lord Krishna himself, Lord Shiva, the greatest of the demigods, could not help him. What to speak of lesser demigods? And therefore the Shiv Jara ultimately surrendered unto Krishna, bowing down before him and offering him a prayer, so that the Lord might be pleased to give him protection. This incident of the fight between the ultimate weapons of Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna proves that if Krishna gives someone protection, no one can kill him. Interesting at this point in time. But if Krishna does not give one so if Krishna gives someone protection, no one can kill him. But if Krishna does not give one protection, then no one can save him. Lord Shiva is called Mahadev, the greatest of all demigods, although sometimes Lord Brahma is considered the greatest of all demigods.
Because he can create, whereas Lord Shiva can annihilate the creations of Brahma. But both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva act only in one capacity. Lord Brahma can create and Lord Shiva can annihilate, but neither of them can maintain. Lord Vishnu, however, not only maintains but creates and annihilates also. Factually, the creation is not affected by Brahma because Brahma himself is created by Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is created or born of Brahma. The Shiva Jvara thus understood that without Krishna or Narayana, no one could help him. He therefore rightly took shelter of Lord Krishna and with folded hands began to pray as follows. My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you have unlimited potencies. No one can surpass your potencies, and thus you are the Lord of everyone. Generally, people consider Lord Shiva the most powerful personality in the material world, but Lord Shiva is not all powerful. You are all powerful. This is factual. You are the original consciousness or knowledge. Without knowledge or consciousness, nothing can be powerful. A material thing may be very powerful, but without the touch of knowledge or consciousness, it cannot act. A material machine may be gigantic and wonderful, but without one touch of someone conscious and in knowledge, the material machine is useless for all purposes. My Lord, you are complete knowledge, and there is not a pinch of material contamination in your personality. Lord Shiva may be a powerful demigod because of his specific power to annihilate the whole creation, and similarly Lord Brahma may be very powerful because he can create the entire universe, but actually neither Brahma nor Shiva nor Lord Shiva is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation. You are the absolute truth, the supreme Brahman, and you are the original cause. The original cause of the cosmic manifestation is not the impersonal Brahman effulgence. That impersonal Brahman effulgence rests on your personality. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, the cause of the impersonal Brahman is Lord Krishna. This Brahman effulgence is likened to the sunshine, which emanates from the sun globe. Therefore, impersonal Brahman is not the ultimate cause. The ultimate cause of everything is the supreme eternal form of Krishna. All material actions and reactions take place in the impersonal Brahman, but in the personal Brahman, the eternal form of Krishna, there is no action and reaction. My Lord, your body is therefore
completely peaceful, completely blissful, and devoid of material contamination. In the material body, there are actions and reactions of the three modes of material nature. The time factor is the most important element above all others, because the material manifestation is affected by the agitation of time. Thus, natural phenomena come into existence, and as soon as phenomena appear, fruitive activities are visible. As the result of these fruitive activities, a living entity takes his form. He acquires a particular nature, packed up in a subtle body and gross body, formed by the life air, the ego, the 10 sense organs, the mind, and the 5 gross elements. These then create the type of body which later becomes the root or cause of various other bodies, which are acquired one after another by the transmigration of the soul. All these phenomenal manifestations are the combined actions of your material energy. Unaffected by the action and reaction of different elements, you are the cause of this external energy, and because you are transcendental to such compulsions of material energy, you are the supreme tranquility. You are the last word in freedom from material contamination. I therefore take shelter at your lotus feet, giving up all other shelter. My dear Lord, your appearance as the son of Vasudeva in your role as a human being is one of the pastimes of your complete freedom. To benefit your devotees and vanquish the non-devotees, you appear in multi-incarnations. All such incarnations descend in fulfillment of your promise in the Bhagavad Gita that you appear as soon as there are discrepancies in the system of progressive life. When there are disturbances by regular principles, my dear Lord, you appear by your internal potency. Your main business is to protect and maintain the demigods and spiritually inclined persons and maintain the standard of material law and order. Simultaneous to the maintenance of such law and order, your violence to the miscreants and and demons, your violence to the miscreants and demons is quite befitting. This is not the first time you have incarnated. It is to be understood that you have done so many times before. My dear Lord, I beg to submit that I have been very greatly chastised by the release of your Narayana Jvara, which is certainly very cooling, yet at the same time severely dangerous and unbearable for all of us. My dear Lord, as long as one is forgetful of Krishna consciousness, driven by the spell of material desires, and
ignorant of the ultimate shelter at your lotus feet, one has accepted this material body, becomes disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material nature. Because one does not surrender unto you, he continues to suffer perpetually. After hearing the Shivjara, Lord Krishna replied, O three-headed one, I am pleased with your statement. Be assured there is no more suffering for you from the Narayana Vijara. Not only are you now free from the fear of Narayana Vijara, but anyone in the future who simply recollects his fight between the Shivjara and the Narayana Vijara will also be freed from all kinds of fear. After hearing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Shivjara offered respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet and left. In the meantime, Banasura somehow or other recovered from his setbacks and with a rejuvenated energy returned to the fight. This time Banasura appeared before Lord Krishna, who was seated on his chariot with different kinds of weapons in his 1,000 hands. Very much agitated, Banasura splashed his different weapons upon the body of Lord Krishna like torrents of rain. When Lord Krishna saw the weapons of Banasura coming at him like water coming out of a strainer, he took his sharp-edged Sudarshan disc and cut off the demon's 1,000 hands, one after another, just as a gardener trims the twigs of a tree with sharp cutters. When Lord Shiva saw that his devotee Banasura could not be saved even in his presence, he came to his senses and personally came before Lord Krishna and began to pacify him by offering the following prayers. Lord Shiva said, "My dear Lord, you are the worshipful object of the Vedic hymns. One who does not know you considers the impersonal Brahmajyoti to be the ultimate supreme absolute truth, without knowledge that you exist behind your spiritual effulgence in your eternal abode. My dear Lord, you are therefore called Param Brahma. These words, Param Brahma, have been used in the Bhagavad Gita to identify you. Saintly persons who have completely cleansed their hearts of all material contamination can realize your transcendental form. Although you are all-pervading like the sky, unaffected by any material thing, only devotees can realize you and no one else. In the impersonalist conception of your supreme existence, the sky is just like your navel, fire is your mouth, and water is your semen. The heavenly planets are your head, and all the directions are your ears. The Uvri planet is your lotus feet.
The moon is your mind, and the sun is your eye. As far as I'm concerned, I act as your ego. The ocean is your abdomen, and the king of heaven, Indra, is your arm. Trees and plants are the hairs of your body, the clouds are the hair on your head, and Lord Brahma is your intelligence. All the great progenitors, known as Prajapatis, are your symbolic representatives, and religion is your heart. The impersonal feature of your supreme body is conceived of in this way, but you are ultimately the supreme person. The impersonal feature of your supreme body is only a small expansion of your energy. You are likened to the original fire, and the expansions are your light and heat. Lord Shiva continued, My dear Lord, although you are manifested universally, different parts of the universe are the different parts of your body, and by your inconceivable potency, you can simultaneously be both localized and universal. In the Brahma Samhita, we also find it stated that although you are always in your abode, Goloka Vrindavan, you are present everywhere. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, you appear to protect the devotees, which indicates good fortune for all the universe. All of the demigods are directing different affairs of the universe by your grace only. Thus, the 7 upper planetary systems are maintained by your grace. At the end of this creation, all manifestations of your energies, whether in the shape of demigods, human beings, or lower animals, enter into you, and all immediate and remote causes of cosmic manifestations rest in you without distinctive features of existence. Ultimately, there is no possibility of distinction between you and any other thing on an equal level with you or subordinate to you. You are simultaneously the cause of this cosmic manifestation and its ingredients as well. You are the supreme whole, one without a second. In the phenomenal manifestation, there are 3 stages: the stage of consciousness, the stage of semi-consciousness, and dreaming, and the stage of unconsciousness. But your Lordship is transcendental to all these different material stages of existence. You exist, therefore, in a 4th dimension, and your appearance and disappearance do not depend on anything beyond yourself. You are the supreme cause of everything, but for you there is no cause. You yourself cause your own appearance and disappearance. Despite your transcendental position, my Lord, in order to show your 6 opulences and advertise your transcendental qualities, you have appeared in your different incarnations. It looks like we have exhausted our time today.
Hare Krishna.
It's very philosophical part of Krishna book. It's unless you're super focused, you will fall asleep. So it's a good nice chance to exercise hearing very attentively. Thank you very much. Let us come together tomorrow again to continue Lord Krishna's fight with Panasura. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.